What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Durbin Compound. If you haven't met me already, my name is Devin Durbin. Today we're going to do something new. We're going to start a new series called Troubleshooting Tuesdays. So I hope to bring value to you, all my viewers, on exactly how we can solve problems with the right tools and the right mindset and just a little patience. So today we have a quarter-inch drill bit, or a quarter-inch Phillips bit stuck in the front of my impact. I'll roll in an image here. And it has been stuck in the front of this impact for many months now, and I just haven't got around to it. We're going to tear this thing apart and see exactly how I get it out, and hopefully do some time lapses, listen to some music, hopefully not bore you to death, but also educate you on exactly how this thing works and taking it apart. I've never had one apart before, so I'm in it to win it. I have not watched any YouTube videos previous to this on exactly how to take it apart. So this is exactly how my mind went at it, and I hope that I bring value to you in your life when you need to do something just the same. So I hope you enjoy the series. Smash that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's get into it. Let's tear this thing apart and have some fun while we're doing it. I have tried the normal stuff, and what I mean by that is I've tried to hold the bit with a pair of vice grips and basically run the impact to see if I can spin it loose or get it loose. I haven't tried penetrating oil or anything like that yet, but what I did first was I ran my vice grips down here on the chuck of this, or on the actual bit itself, and clamped them down pretty much as hard as I could. Alright, and then while I had it on there, I went ahead and hit it with the impact to see if I could break it loose. Either way, I think it's halfway in between. I'll roll in some photos here so that you can see exactly how the bit got twisted. So I don't think the bit fit tight enough to keep it from rounding, so when I was using it, it basically just rounded off inside. So I've been unable to get it out of this thing for a while. So basically what I did was put the vice grip on it, and we'll hit it with the impact and see if it'll come loose. So it just snaps off my vice grips every time, and the hardened bit has actually started to take out some chunks here on the vice grip. So I don't believe that it's moved at all in this chuck. It's held it pretty darn good. So in order to troubleshoot this further, I'm going to go ahead and take apart this impact, and we're going to see if we can get the chuck out of it in order to punch it out from the back. That's what my plan is here now. So let's go ahead and bring the camera closer. We'll get some time lapse as I take it apart. So let's troubleshoot this. Alright, now that I've removed all the screws from both sides of this case, we're going to attempt to take this apart. I've never taken one apart before, so I'm just going to be cautious, make sure I have everything out of here. I don't know what side you should open up first. Of course, there's probably a side that's easier to open up first and not everything fall out, but pretty sure that we'll be able to figure that out here shortly. So I'm just prying it open a little bit here at the bottom to see what side everything is mounted on. And it looks as if it'll be on the left side. So if you take this side with the actual sticker out first, I think that you're in good shape. So let's get all these screws out of the way. There's a tremendous amount of screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 screws hold this thing together. This thing is a beast. I'm just slowly taking the cover off here, and we'll lift it out of place. Okay, so that was the good side. Oh look, they even went as far as putting the sticker that gets your butt at the door when you try to steal something. Put it in the inside of this case. Alright, so now that I've got that apart, let's go ahead and try to see if we can get this impact piece out of here with the motor. It looks like it's going to have to all come out of here as one unit. Somebody on the internet's going to be like, oh, you should send that back to the factory to get worked on. You shouldn't be taking it apart yourself. Yeah, and I should also be using a wrist strap when I'm touching the electronics, right? Yeah, So, okay, so I just unseated it, and it looks like I'm able to just pull the motor out of place here. There is a little I don't know, maybe a ground ring that is hooked up to the circuit board that I think just needs to slip off of here. So yeah, it looks like it just slips off here. We'll pry that up out of the way a little bit. It's connected with a wire, so you need to just make sure that you get that that loose from there before you start yanking on it. Okay, so great, I've got the impact head out. So is there any way to take this apart, or is this a one-piece unit? What I'm going to try to do is mount this in the vise, and it has some flat parts here. I'm going to put an adjustable wrench on it, and we're going to see if the whole case will split open. I'm basically at a loss. I can't use it either way. If I break it, I don't know. The bit is stuck in it. I can't drill it out. There's no way to. I could, you know, I could cut the bit off with a sawzall and a metal cutting blade, and then try to drill it out. You know, that's one part of going at it. But I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try putting the wrench on it, and we'll see what it does. We're going to try to protect this body as much as we can here with a towel. Let's go ahead and open this up. I'm going to just clamp the front of the unit down so that it doesn't spin anywhere. And let's try to put an adjustable right here on this these flat tangs here. Okay. Alright, let's see if this bad boy will come loose. Is it reverse threads? It does move. Okay, it is reverse threaded. So righty-tighty takes it apart. Okay, now I want to be very, very careful with this when I take it apart here. I don't want to lose anything here. I'm taking the cap off. Okay, so righty-tighty opens this up. It's reverse thread. Okay. So now I've taken this piece out. We're basically just going to turn everything upside down onto the table until we get to get down to the chuck part. So let's go back over to where I was, and let's take this thing apart. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear my area out a little bit. You want to work definitely in a clean environment for this part of the project. Okay, I've got this off to the side here. Okay. Now, one thing that just a lot of people don't understand with having a YouTube channel is it's ridiculously hard. Like, especially when you don't have a crap ton of equipment or resources or anything like that. It's hard to always set up the camera and have a spot to sit the camera. I think I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna turn this upside down because it doesn't seem like it's just gonna pop out. Oh, there it is. Okay, I can pull it straight out of here. It's probably going to be a bear to get this thing back together the way that it came apart here. Okay, these are NWS pliers. These are some German pliers. These things are awesome. Okay, I picked it straight up out of there. Let's see exactly what this thing looks like. Okay, there was a ball bearing. Okay. Okay, and it looks like the ball bearing was... Alright, I think I got it together. I don't know where the ball bearing was sitting. I assume it was right there on the tip of that because I did barely hit it. I assume it was sitting right there on the tip like that. We'll see here in a second. Okay, now I'm going to put this down before I lose anything else here. This rotating collar was sitting like this, and then this guy went down inside it. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put this down exactly like it was. Alright. So the only real question is, where was that ball bearing? Pretty sure I can figure it out when it goes back together. Alright, clean up our hands here. And looks like the only thing left I'm looking at is I'm looking down in here, and if you can see this, looking down into the basically the housing here. I got to figure out how the heck to get this chuck out of here. So then now that I've cleaned this up, wiped it down a little bit here, now I'll roll in a picture over now that has this little snap ring in it. I'll show you exactly what it looks like. So now that I've got that, now let's see how we can get this snap ring out of here. Try to get up behind it. Try to hold it into place here. Alright, the trick is you need about 15 hands for this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it out of here, but I have to take tension off. Alright, it was probably annoying to watch me off the side of the camera, but once again, another thing that say YouTube is hard, because I always forget about having to set up the camera every single time. So hopefully this is more advantageous to your viewing. This little snap ring is going to be a pain in the butt for sure. So I've got a little dental pick. I think I got them from Harbor Freight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the one pick here, take on my little snap-on hook pick, and I'm going to press down on this collar, and I hope you can see that on camera. That little collar goes down right beside where I'm trying to get underneath this little E-ring or this snap ring. So I'm just trying to get underneath the edge of the snap ring so that I can pry it up out of here. Hopefully you can see that, but you want to hold your finger over any snap ring so that when it comes off, it doesn't fly off somewhere. Chances of getting that is going to be rough. Okay, so now the whole spring assembly that was held in before comes out of the top of there, and my chuck just dropped down through the top. Okay, so now when I look at this chuck here, it looks like it's got another detent ball inside of it. Now I need to figure out how the heck I get this out. So now it looks like what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna wipe this down here just right quick so we can see exactly what we're looking at here. Okay, so we have another spring and another detent ball. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the tension off this spring, and that detent ball should fall right out. Okay, so it fell right out. Now we've got this detent spring. Now I'm gonna pry it up out of the hole because it's got a little cup on it. And what I'm going to do is slowly spin it off of here. So get that out of the way. That's literally just to hold that ball up into place. Okay, we're done with that. Okay, now I can see my bit, and I can see that it is all the way through here. So that detent ball is actually where this cup comes back on it to hold it into place. So you pull it out, and that ball can come out kind of like a ratchet, kind of like a ratchet or an extension has a little detent ball in it. Same exact thing. So we pull that out, and now we can see this is the entire side of my shank here. So now I have the entire side of the bit. Hopefully that light isn't in the camera, but my bit extends all the way down through here somewhere. I swear this Wilton is just getting further and further out of whack every single day, man. What is going on here? Brand new Vise, not really. Couple years old. This thing's already out of whack. Okay, we're gonna clamp down really good on this bit. Like almost to the point of crushing it here. And somehow we're going to, like this, we're gonna put our adjustable on here. And with a nice firm whack, you only get a couple shots at this. We're gonna try to pop this clean off here. Ooh, nice and tight. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, you see my bit has now come out to the point where I can get on it even more. So that is working. Bum, 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 bum. Problem solved. Okay, singing to myself. All right, let's go ahead and tapsies it right out. Okay, so now this was the bit that was stuck inside there. Pain in my butt. All right, I don't think that we messed up anything too badly. I didn't hit inside there where that ball bearing sits. What we're going to do is we're going to reverse it. The only reason this did come out is because that detent ball was taken out of there. Remember the detent ball with the little spring? I had to take it all the way down to this part. Alright guys, all I did was spray that out with some compressed air. I used about 40 psi. If you didn't see it before, I want to make sure that I note it here when you're putting this back together, if you've even watched a video this long. Alright, so there's this little grounding piece, I think. All it does is ground this housing out, I think. When you put this back in here, it needs to slide along these two sides here. So when you're setting the motor back in, the easiest way to do it is you can see that there's two sides that are flattened off. So I'm pretty sure that they fit just over that piece here. And so you can slide that piece back in over that round, or over those flattened parts. Before, what I did was I took the bottom off second. So I was able to put the bottom over, and then I went ahead and slipped the top over. So it looks to be a little tricky going back in. I'm going to have to use a little screwdriver down in here. It's one of those things you need about 10 hands to do. But working by yourself is a little challenging sometimes. So all I'm using is the pick to kind of bump that over the edge there. Need to line it up a little bit better this time. Kind of center up my motor here and try to bump that over here. Try to get the back part in there. Okay, now that we've got that on there, at least I think so. Okay, now we can rotate the motor, and then we can pry the other piece up and around. I hope you can see that. Of course, if you don't have a freaking cameraman, it's hard to get any of this on camera. So I just pry it out enough that I can get it popped over there, and then put it back into place. Boom, just like that. And it's kind of got some spring tension on it. So now I rotate my motor just a little bit further to get it alignment cocked right on here, and then it should pop back on my gear here. You've got to align the motor while also giving it a little bit of oomph there, and then it slides back in the notches in the housing. So now we should be able to rotate it and get our chuck to rotate. Looks good to me. Okay. Now, looks like I bent the tab. There we go. So that tab fits just right back in there behind that. Made sure I got my housing lined up, and now we are ready to put it all back together. So the only thing that I pulled out when I took this apart was the impact housing. So now we're going to go ahead and slide her back together. And before I put my screws on, so another thing to do is make sure everything works. Make sure, okay. Now we're going to put my battery back on here. Make sure everything works before you put all your screws back in, because there was 11 of them and it gave me quite the forearm workout. So, alright, let's put our screws back in and let's call it a day. Too easy. Alright guys, that wraps up my Troubleshooting Tuesday, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Once again, before you're done with any project, it's always a good idea to ATAF, all tools accounted for. So anything that you got out, go ahead and clean it and put it back where it belongs. What that does will keep you organized, keep you sane, and practice a little bit of discipline in the shop or in your garage, just to keep you from losing tools, or keeping them under the hood. I once had a pair of vice grips just like this, permanently, well, not really permanently, but I had them latched down on a nut on the underside of my Jeep, holding a holding a nut that was a ground strap to a stereo system. And I found it about 6-7 years later, still hanging up underneath there. I still had the same damn pair of vice grips locked on that nut. Just one of those things, that reason why I do all tools accounted for. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up my tools, put them back where they belong, and let's wrap this thing up.